128 in. So the big advantage of this is, I mean, you still have this here. This is your meter bridge for all your inputs, right? You can do that here. So say Marvin patches into an input downstage and you're not sure where it is, nor do you know where it's routed. Well, just have him talk into the microphone, go through your meter section and go, oh, it's plugged into socket 63. Okay, pull up socket 63, go to your surface, control, strip assignment. I'll dive more into this in a moment. Let's go to a blank page and input 63. We drag it here. 3. Hey, input 63. You would be mixing that channel. And see how that mirrors? Okay. Simply remove, and it goes away. All right. Meter section again. Effects. This is your masters, sends and returns. Send in mono, it returns in stereo. We have stereo options as well, but with talking heads type of events, probably not absolutely needed. Mixes are considered your outputs. Okay, this is what we have designed already for the system. Is
one question.
Sure.
When you was mixing over here, the slider was going up over there too. So you said something was bridge.
No, it's not bridged. It's just surface control. It'll mirror.
But when you do, so this here bank here is the same as that bank.
It could be anything. I could put it, and I'll explain more in the surface control when we get there. But yeah, hold on to that question.
Yeah,
user tabs, these are customizable to what you want to view and read. Of course, you hit the setup again, meter side, and you simply drag in what you want to see and visually take a look at. Okay? And we're up to 4 tabs there, and then here's our internal RTA. And this is what you can see would be feeding back by hitting the PFL. And of course, I'll dive more into that when we get into the graphic EQ. Okay? Effects. We're up to 16 effects units on this control surface. Currently, we've got 4 reverbs designed, actually 3 with a delay on this side of the rack. But the great thing is that now we're getting into that insert page that I was talking about. Insert A, right? So if you want to de-esser into that input, you know, the speaker is talking through their teeth and you want to reduce that without killing your EQ, you can do that patching from here or from here. So right now we're going to the back panel like you would in an analog, right? Insert A, that's that tab here. And we're going to go to input 3, okay? This will, and see the name will follow. Input 3, stage left, input. Apply, and see how that shows up on that input side?
This knob here, you went like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Remember when you highlight the box in yellow? Okay, the big knob does the work, okay? Back to the front panel, and it's here. See how that changes?
Right, yeah. Okay.
So you don't have to mix in the effects rack, you can do that on the insert A.
Okay.
So what's also great is that 2 engineers can drive the console simultaneously. So you could be mixing in the effects and where you want them to go on your returns or the insert points while, say, you're driving the input and getting your parametric EQ where you want. So he could be working with this de-esser while you're trying to fine tune as well. He could be driving the effect simultaneously. So 2 engineers can drive at once. Pretty cool. Yeah, it just blew your mind. So as digital control as this thing is, it's about as analog as you can get. So if you were on a Midas H3000, that's a big desk, right? So you can be handling the drum kit, you can be handling the vocals. Okay? Let's go to insert B. So we've got a de-esser on input 3 right here. This is the channel I have selected, and that's the output I'm mixing to. Okay, I'm mixing to the mains. But let's throw in a multi-band compression on insert B. We're going to do it from this side now. Okay. Send, rack effect, and we're on socket 16 all the way at the end. Apply. Now that's over there. Okay. You can insert it, remove it, or simply unassign it, and it's out. Questions?
Cool. These effects inserts, how are you how are these like created or input into the board?
Okay. We have a full library, a massive library. So say you go to a blank one or go to one that's being used. So just like an analog, right? You have an effects rack of you've got a 16U rack effect unit. Just simply remove and input a new effect, right? Okay. So same theory applies. Let's go to this multiband. We'll go to library. Library is your friend. Okay. So we've got reverbs for days. Okay. So here's our presets. It just keeps going. We've got a 2-tap delay, bucket brigade, another delay type unit, echo, ADT. It's like a vocal encoder kind of thing. It's not a pitch correction, but it will, double the vocal or even quadruple. It's a really cool effect on some lead vocal stuff. Chorus, flanger, phaser, subharmonic, symphonic, gated verb, pitch correction, rotary shifter, de-esser. Now, when you get into the bottom of the effects, this gets more into the dynamic control. So we have a transient controller, right? So if you want to, reduce the decay on the signal wave from an input, like a kick drum, you can do that. And it's a dual mono rack. So with this, so reverb's going to have a send and return, right? But a dynamic control is going to have a dedicated insert. Make sense? And up to 16 devices per the console, so that's a lot of control.
That's 16 per channel for every input that you've got on board?
No. The 16 channels in the external rack effect. Okay? Each input and output can handle 2 insert points, right? And that's not including inserting a comp or a gate. Okay, so if you're using a wave server, an external waves unit, you can do so and insert A or B from a waves device. Okay? Any questions on the effect rack? Okay, let's move on. I/O. This is the massive bit of routing. This is where you handle all your ins, all your outs, all your tie lines, all your network cards. So that 800 by 800 I was talking about, where you come in Dante and then go out waves, you would do that here. Yes, sir.
This is the guy I mentioned yesterday that said he couldn't afford it.
Oh, well, what are you doing here, man?
Yeah. Dreaming.
By all means, we have tissues around here somewhere. All right, ins and outs. Is everybody familiar with the Dante webbing, the Dante control interface? Anybody familiar with? Okay, Dante controller is free to download. Certainly, please download it from Audinate's website and take a look. But if you're familiar with that, or even mixing on an Avid desk with its routing, this webbing should be quite familiar. So this is the surface side on inputs or outputs, and this is the physical in or output side. So I'm on the inputs tab, I'm on the mix rack and the local sockets. So I'm looking at that DM48 over there, okay? The DX1 and 2 is that input box stage left, okay? And you see how these are, see the different colorization here? So I have inputs 1 through 24, so that's 3 cards on that rack. You see how this is kind of blacked out? That means nothing is physically plugged into that side. Okay? So
that's the full slot.
Yeah, this is that DM, the DX32 that is staged left, that has only inputs on it. Okay? If we go to the output side of things, we go to that slot, it's local, there are no output cards on that rack. Now let's go to the stage right rack. On the outputs, those are how many physical outputs are connected. 16. So that means they have 2 output cards. You see how that blacked out? There's 2 more bays from 2 more cards. Okay? You can go in and assign a socket if you wanted to, and then physically plug in that socket, and since it'll already be assigned in the surface, it'll automatically take it. Signal will be ready to go, and once that thing is plugged in. Okay? Our ME port, this is if you were doing in our ME, our personal in-ear monitor system type thing. Just like Avion, if everybody's familiar with Avion. Same theory, ours just sounds way better. Because it processes at 48K with a dedicated port. So you're not adding any Dante backbone, you're not adding another switch to kind of get out to it. It's there. And that handles 40 channels of an in-ear system. That's a lot. That is a lot of referencing. Okay. I/O ports. This is that network card. If we had something plugged in, this would glow up. So if Dante was here, Wave was here. Yeah. So this is that 800 by 800 growth that I'm talking about. Okay. Let's see. Let's go into scenes. We're up to 500 scenes a show. It's a lot of scenes. It's a lot of scenes. Okay. A lot of room to grow. We kind of have a starting point here for now. We're going to be adding more to it today, right? When we finish up with our input assignments. All right, ganging.
Let me ask you a question right quick.
Yeah.
When you're on those are shows or scenes?
These are scenes, dedicated scenes. So we're on a show itself. Within one show, 500 scenes.
Okay. So if you need to step through like songs, for example, just perform on stage, you go to. What's the quickest way to go to the next song or the next scene?
Scene control here. Scene control here. This will always be here.
So you just
hit next and go. Next and go. Next and go. Or you can even update your scene that you just made adjustments on from here. On our iLive system, it used to be right here. And that was bad placement because elbow,
right.
you know, the big old belly kind of rolling over the necks. That sucked. I've done that. hitting go for the next scene in the middle of the song. I went home that day. Gang. We have 16 gangs, 8 members of gang. If everybody's familiar with Yamaha, just for explaining reasons, linking, channel linking. Okay, there are gangs. So let's we'll go to 16, just in that tab, and we're gonna link 61 through 64. Okay. See how those highlight in yellow? We're starting to tab those together. And now the attributes is we can do trim, filter, gating, parametric EQ, compression, routing. You can do the pans. I don't advise it if you're doing specific inputs because each pan will change. So all 4 would go to the left, all 4 would go to the right. Delay match. Now watch. These are all linked together.
Okay.
Okay. So, if you're running out of channels, if you're running out of groups to bus to, because groups are a great way to do all the master EQ for a bunch of vocals or all at once, you can also have this here, right? These are linked together. Keep that in mind, okay? Going to Surface, we are in Bank 2C. Let's go ahead and remove 61, 62, 63. These that were just here would still match the fader and the dynamic control. You're just creating more real estate. You just can't control that fader or its parametric EQ on those channels. But since you have it ganged together, you can hit select on this EQ here and still have it match. Okay? So let's throw 61 back on here. See how the EQ matches? 61, 64. So that saves real estate on the console if you want to stay on the upper deck. Okay? Move the gang. Hit gang here. We're going to simply just remove them from that and apply, and that no longer matches. Questions on ganging? Okay?
how long has this mixer been out?
iLive, we all started this concept with the iLive system, and that was a 10-year run. That's a great run for a control surface and computer, essentially, right? We released this style in October of last year, and we're just coming up on a year. So it all started, the whole theory started in the iLive system. Everything stays in the DM, the surface is just